Welcome to our international podcast. Below the belt, who vex lose? Who vex lose? Welcome, guys. Isabella Butters and Beatrice Selby and all the other beautiful folks. Welcome. Good to have you guys at this end. It is Saturday, the 14th day of May. How did you guys get through Friday the 13th? Do let us know. Do let us know. I'm privileged to have in studio with me today none other than our FYI co-host, Jarita Fernand. She is here. She's fired up, folks. She's really fired up this morning. And she is ready to go. Jarita, how are you doing? How is Saturday going? How has the weekend started?
I had a good sleep. Let me start from that. I had a good sleep, so I'm not as rested as I would like to be, but most definitely I am on my way to a relaxing weekend. Hopefully I can have a couple hours to just rest.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I say hopefully because with everything that goes on, it's never guaranteed that you'll be able to actually take a few hours to rest.
Yes, because the day starts one way sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
but then it ends up in a totally different direction.
That is
But
so
we know you're
true.
going to have an awesome weekend, all things considered.
Mm-hmm.
I see we have Dennis Booker with us and Golly God and
But you
Alex
know,
Boom.
when I'm on the podcast, I usually monitor the Facebookers I see. So I can tell you that I see Alex Boom there and Golly God and Denise Booker and Paulette Hicks. Hey Paulette, how are you doing? I see that the guys are already starting to roll in, and I'm just gonna say to remember to do your part in sharing the live
Yes,
stream.
guys. Yes, yes,
We're
yes.
very early with this. You know, Sharada, whenever we come online, guys, it's always an encouragement to know that you are here. You're always waiting to receive credible information, always waiting to hear what is there
Mm-hmm.
to be said.
Mm-hmm.
So we are most grateful
Yeah,
for
yeah.
every aspect of that.
Yes. Just like you guys, we look forward to the camaraderie with Dave Durrell and Paulette Hicks and Dennis Booker, Sheena Hazel. We look forward to our time with Yonit, Alan Smith, Andel, and Stephen Jarvis, and all you guys, Alex Boom. Alex and I done share already.
Yes, excellent. I see. It's Sheena Hazel
Yes.
also. As Stephen Collins is here with us. Edward Gonzalez from where?
From the Bronx, Miss Kim. From the Bronx. From the
You
Bronx.
know, Sharon, I'm looking at the loads. Well, I don't even know if I'm calling it correct, but I'm seeing season 2, episode 47. What's going on there?
Huh?
Talk to me. Season 2, episode
Yeah, yeah,
47.
yeah. Believe it or not, we got up to the first season we had up
Hmm.
to 100 episodes.
Oh, so you did 100 episodes
Yeah,
per
and then
season.
yes, then we started back at one again.
Ah,
So believe it or
wow.
not, we've
So
done
it's 147.
147, and
Wow.
that's hours. 'Cause each program is
Wow.
about an hour.
Hmm.
That's 147
An
hours
hour at minimum.
at minimum, and then you think the preparation time, and we
and
still
and then you go over an hour
yeah,
almost every
yeah,
time.
yeah. But just for the folks, we want the folks like I seen Koja and June Beresford to have valid and credible information. That's what it's about.
Wow,
So
147
yeah, yeah.
hours.
It's a labor of love. It's a
Wow.
labor of love. I think we
Mm,
started last November. I think it was
I cannot
something there about
remember.
late
You have to
November.
backtrack on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. About 147 episodes, and we've made some great friends along the way, like Cecile Ogle and Dolores Dover. Rishi Prasad is here too.
FYI,
Rishi's
if a baby
here.
with this.
Rishi's one of those disgusting
Mm.
PvP folks, but we love when he comes on. Because
Rishi?
at the end of the day,
Rishi?
Rishi Prasad, at
Hmm.
the end of the day, all of us got to build this beautiful country of ours. It don't belong to APNU alone or AFC or PNC. It belongs to all of us,
Hmm.
including people who support the PPP.
Yeah.
And we always say it's not a supporter so much as in the people who man the leadership and their policies that we have an issue with, the policies especially that we have a
Hmm.
difference of opinion with. So we
Correct.
welcome folks like Rishi anytime. And we always say, Rishi, when we have open mics and so on, you don't have to agree with us to send in a voice note or to call in.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
think I just want to say welcome to Rishi myself, Rishi
Yeah.
Prasad. You know, it's folks like, and I always say it is most important that we have all aspects of the conversation being integrated. You know,
Mm.
A lot of times I encourage persons to come forward, especially if they don't have an opinion that suits mine, so I can look at the issue as dispassionately as I possibly can, because like you rightly said, this country belongs to all of us, and we definitely need to integrate the opinion so that we can formulate strategy
Yeah.
and policy that benefits everyone
Yeah.
living in the country. So
Yeah.
Rishi, welcome, and thank you for always joining.
Rishi et al. Rishi and others, you all are welcome. Good to see Winston Henry's here as well. Uh, Pops, Robert Archer.
Hey, Pops,
Robert
what's up?
Pops Archer. Robert, good to see you, my brother. Good
Mhm.
to see you. Dave Jurel, good to see you. I see a whole conversation here happening that don't belong to us. Liddell Henry, good to see you. Simone Adiola Johnson is here, and Deborah Clark.
Yes.
Deborah's here.
Hey, Deborah, how are you?
Hey,
How are you,
Debs.
girl? How is work? You know, Deborah spends a bit of a time to get to work, to and from work, because she is living some distance away from where she works. So, Deborah, thank you so much for joining. I know that you have exhausting days at work and all of that, but thank you for always coming through for us.
Yep. Good folks like Deborah. Beatrice Selby is not going to take left by any means. Irvin John Cook is here, and Paulette Hicks, and all the good folks. Marilyn King, folks. How much Saturday started at your end? What kind of chores y'all got? Y'all doing any gardening? I love me an easy Saturday
I
like
have
that.
never in my
You
life
know,
not once done any aspect of gardening. I have never
never
done anything. I never
yet. Yeah,
pull,
you're young yet, man. You're young. See, your
not
mother milk still in
once.
your face. You're young yet. Don't fret.
You see my what?
Your mother milk still in your face. It's an expression.
I've never heard
Yeah,
that.
your mother milk still in your face. Folks, have you never heard that? Treaty, that's how young Treaty young. You see what I'm telling you? That's confirmation.
Your
Elizabeth
buttermilk still
Nuraim
on your
is
face.
joining us from Sparkle City, South
Hey
Carolina.
Elizabeth, how are you? I see Lennox Anderson is here with us.
How is Sparkle City, Liz? How is Sparkle City? Pace and power.
Brenda Brathwaite. Hey Brenda, how are you
Drink
doing?
that,
I
that,
see.
drink that tea look delicious. Give me a little bit now. We
I'm
a little hand to
having
mouth.
I'm having
We a little
some
hand to mouth here.
tea
Yes,
bag
tea bag.
with sugar.
You're a little different from Manza.
No, because I'm having some tea bag with the sugar because I'm not feeling my best today, to be
Oh, you're not
honest.
feeling your best?
No, so
Uh-huh.
I'm
It's love
having
sick?
tummy pain,
Oh,
so
tummy
I
pains.
was told that this is gonna help.
Mm. But
So
I hope you get back to full health soon.
yes.
As one ages, as we big. Every little thing,
Yeah,
little crooks and so
exactly.
on, little creaks and so on. Nigel Polydor is there. Guys, we hope that you're feeling well, and if not, take it easy, that's why we say be gentle with yourself.
As I see,
Right?
is Oswin King saying, Oswin
Yeah.
King says at work today, at St. Joseph Mercy in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
Guyanese are
Yeah,
dispersed
we all
throughout.
over. So happy that you've joined us, my brother. So happy.
Marlon King
Yeah.
is such a Sherry Duncan person right now. Marlon King is saying Jaretta is a little girl. I've said this for the second time.
It's true. That's what I see your mother milk in
Yeah,
your face.
one set me up, you
I see
know.
your mother milk still in your face.
Uh,
Don Sullivan, we see you there. Nicola Daniels and so on. Let me come up to your Facebook and see what happens. Because like I see the best thing. Folks, believe it or not, the weather outside where we are, it's 30 degrees outside. It feels it when we were telling the vendor
yes.
just now
Yeah,
that
that
we
is
see,
correct.
yeah. We were picking up some papers outside and we're telling the vendor it's a little hot today. I said it's 30 degrees outside,
Mm-hmm.
but it feels like 36. I think it's
Wow.
36. I feel it's 36, and there's a 7% chance of rain. And we look like we have good weather right into the afternoon. That increases overnight about
Sandra.
11% around 4 o'clock. So
Mm-hmm.
it looks like we have good weather into the afternoon. 30 degrees outside
That's good.
currently.
I may be able to get out if I'm feeling okay.
You
You
see,
know.
you're still thinking about going out. You know you're feeling.
Oh gosh, I
Oh, go home,
want
drink your porridge,
to.
rub your foot and go to bed.
I
Shucks.
don't have that. I don't have the luxury
All
of
right.
doing that.
Rub.
Sometimes I just want to get a
Right.
little bit
You
of
know you got
fresh
your
air.
one good knee and you. Folks, so yeah.
I have a
Elizabeth says
very
that,
honest
hold on,
laugh.
hold on. Elizabeth is telling us something here. Elizabeth telling us she's grieving the loss of an extended family member and trying to be consoler in chief. That's how she's doing.
Mm.
Yeah, and I know she would have lost her son-in-law's dad over the last 72 hours into the
Wow.
grappling. I just know everybody business, sir.
But Elizabeth, I want to
Yeah,
say our sincere condolence
yeah,
from Team Below the Belt today, and
yeah,
also
yeah,
extended,
yeah,
I'll say,
yeah,
from FYI and the
yeah,
entire family all together. You know, you're like family to
yeah,
us.
yeah.
So,
Sometimes life hits you
hmm,
below the belt.
yeah, it
You
does.
know, not everything comes, in the right way. Sometimes you
Mm,
got some shots below the belt. When you
mm,
start over there, you start it one way, and by lunchtime, you're
mm.
dealing with some stuff below the belt. You just gotta keep pressing forward.
Yeah.
Just gotta keep pressing forward.
Yeah, no matter what happens, it's just strange that you have to find a way to cope and
Find a
to
way to
and we
get through. And I have said, listen to me, whatever happens, right? Whatever is my lot.
mm-hmm,
I mean, it's not solid. I remember that old hymn. Whatever is my lot,
mm-hmm,
thou hast taught me to say it is well, and I will persevere. Right?
mm-hmm.
There's a song I think by Gypsy. It says, "I'm a born survivor. I can smile through my adversities, laugh when guns are trained at me. I'm taking it each day, one day at a time."
You're very poetic, Chef.
Right? You think so?
I think so. I do think so. You know, these things stick with you for
Yeah,
a reason. You have
Gypsy.
you
No, it's
have an
good writing. It's good
inclination
writing by
to,
these fellas. Gypsy says,
yeah.
I'm born to survive. Even though they connive, spin their webs of strife, I'm staying alive. I
Wow.
was born to survive. Trinidad and Gypsy.
How you feel about those words?
Born to survive.
That's how I feel
And
about
that's what we have to do.
numbers.
We got to survive life. Life coming at us. Elizabeth,
Yeah.
Marilyn Thomas, Paula Grief, from all which way direction,
Hmm.
conspiring against you. But you gotta get up fortitude.
Okay.
Whatever will, I gonna survive.
And I want to say condolence also to the children and friends, relatives in general of Indy Ramnarayan that lost her life in Bhartika. This is a very prominent Bharatician, and she lost her life. And I want to say that, over the years, everybody, Bhartika is a just closely knitted community all together, and we all know each other. So this one really hit hard to everyone also. And I know that her son and I went to school together, her eldest son, Vicky. And I want to say a sincere condolence to you on the passing of your mom. And we're all there to support as a community.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
sad.
Everybody who is grieving, who is going through something, we here with you guys.
Yeah.
We here with you
And
guys. You're gonna make it. You make it. This too
mhm,
shall pass. This
yes.
too shall pass.
I see Dawn is saying that Shared is a George boy. He knows a lot of him.
You pick up a couple things along the way
I
in
telling
this
you,
life,
I telling you.
right?
I see
You pick up a
Esther
couple of
Blue say
things.
blessed Sabbath to all. Esther, that is correct. Blessed Sabbath to you too, Esther, and all the folks that are joining. I know from the Adventist denomination altogether.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I hope you're having a relaxing Sabbath to all the folks that are joining us Adventist Day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
was I
yeah.
was born and raised in an Adventist home, and the teachings altogether. That is the only teaching I know when it comes to religion. That is the Adventist. My grandmother
Mm-hmm,
is Stance Adventist, Rita Collinette, and
mm-hmm,
she
mm-hmm.
and she actually raise her children in that church. And she always says, she was out and about clubbing and all of that. So when she found the peace and sanctity of the church, that is something that she needed, and she raised her children under that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very religion and all of those things are very important to all of us.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Let me introduce you all to a song if you all have never heard this one before. And we don't usually play music on our programs like that. But as I was thinking about Born to Survive, I know somebody going through something. We could,
Yeah.
maybe lift your spirit today. This is that one. Born to Survive. This is that one. Born to Survive. I think we have it. Let me see if we can. Oh, oh.
Oh yeah. uh What can be worse than a 10-year-old on the cold beach of Mayaro? With just the surf and the sand, a dream and a plan, and no promise of tomorrow. Hungry belly cry, trouble way by. And at that age, you think life is cold. But there is no way to know, cause it never would show. It's all for this dungeon called the world. But I'm a born survivor. Yes, I can smile through all my adversities and just laugh when the guns are trained at me, taking life one day at a time. Cause I'm sure as the night must bring the dawn, this life of mine would still go on. And don't mind how they connive, spin their web of strife. I'm staying alive. I'm born to
Yep,
survive.
yep, yep. Just give me a taste of that. And believe it or not, this is Gypsy out of Trinidad. And Gypsy went on to become a minister of government, from Calypsonian.
Wow.
Yep, yep, yep. Life takes some strange turns.
Yeah.
We're born to survive. We gotta survive.
Strange turns.
Irrespective of what may be happening,
Strange turns
that's
indeed.
our encouragement to you guys.
I felt that about the strange turn when it comes to Arnold Schwarzenegger
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
actual
Yeah. From
California there. Yeah.
actor to governor,
That's how I felt.
governor down there.
And we can
You know.
further talk about the president in Ukraine, Zelensky,
Yeah,
from
from comedian.
comedian
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah,
the most talked about right
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I see Tara Brian. Hey Tara, welcome to the program. I see Tara have some bit of this disputes herself,
Yeah, yeah.
wrestling within the
We sending you
comments.
some hugs today.
So
We love disagreements. We love
yes.
disagreements. We don't have to agree. If we eat okra every day, something wrong. You gotta get some flavor, some
Mhm.
differences. Different menu every now and again. So we are vexed with you. Say what you gotta say. You gotta survive though. Gotta survive. We're so happy. We're so happy that all of you guys are here. Carl Miller and Dolores Dover. We got Hazel, Wendy Griffith, and Marlene King. Well, Tara, you like this first topic we got here.
Mhm. I think Tara, I would invite Tara to actually send in a voice note
Yeah,
next Friday,
yeah,
so we
yeah,
can
yeah,
adequately address any
yeah. Don't even wait.
concerns that
Like
may
send it
have.
now, and we can accommodate you. Send it now.
Yeah.
627-6963. We love it. Love it. You see. I build differently.
Yeah.
You see when I hear gunshots firing, people's running from it. I run in for see what happening.
You
I
different.
met a teacher recently in Twitter, and I couldn't remember her distinctively, but she said you were in one of my classes in nursery school.
Wow, she remember you like
She
that.
said you got this thing in you since then. Any problem outside the class happening? You always want to know. It's what
You
miss.
you
It's
you're
what a
in their
fast. It's a
face,
fast slang. That's what she really said. A fast slang. It's fast. It's fast, folks. If you don't read nothing for the day, if you don't read nothing for the day, Susan at Washington, you don't read nothing for the day, Jocelyn Prince Kingston, Yolanda. If you don't read nothing for the day, Chanel Belgrave, I'm recommending Starbuck News editorial today. Younger fight me and Starbuck News. We touched on some of this yesterday inadvertently. We didn't plan to deal with it on our program,
That is correct.
but a lot of people kept calling in about the conduct of the first lady. Well, Starbuck News, them playing today. Tara O'Brien, you gotta go fight them the other side.
Star News had a different twist.
Tara, you
Actually.
gotta go fight. You gotta go fight Starbuck News too, right? And this is how you know something. I mean, you don't need validation from people to know, because some things just feel intrinsically right or wrong, or based on your moral compass and your value system and so forth. But if you ain't got none of that, right? Every man does what is right in his own eyes. And so when we saw Starbuck News editorial today, Carl Miller, Guyana Spectator, and Stephen Collins and Savage Rizal, when we saw Starbuck News editorial today, we said, well, we both can't be wrong. We both cannot be wrong. You understand me? We both cannot be wrong. And I was in court recently today. I was in court recently today. And the magistrate said something to the attorney on the other side, because he was making a point. We've always done it X, which you say you could do it 100 years and doing it wrong all the time. So length of time don't mean that is right. Length of time it has been done don't mean it is right. I sorry for them boys on the other side of used fields and Stobies in the courtroom. I'm so grateful to have that company represent me. Fantastic young lawyers. Narissa, Leander, Ayana Butts. I had Mr. Daniels, what's his name again? Ronald Daniels, a part of my
Oh my
team.
goodness. I have
Nigel Shoes
tremendous
himself showed up in my
respect for
defense.
that.
I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. It was, and the magistrate said you could do it for 100 years and doing it wrong. Length of time is no justification.
Yeah.
But Starbuck News took aim. Robert Pops Archer, Elizabeth Norine. Please and thank you. You see, when I'm reading Starbuck News, I see a little Tina on my little pinky finger sticking out. Starbuck News, folks, begins by saying there is something vulgar. Ouch! There is something vulgar, Jarida, about hosting an all-white party on a barge in the Demerara River with a ticket price that is higher than the current monthly minimum wage, even if it is for a good cause. I can see some people say, shucks, she young. That's Starbuck News. That's the opener. That is the opener. This is Starbuck News, right? This is Starbuck News. Anita Atkins and Robert. It's Starbuck News, Loretta Argyle. There is something vulgar. Yeah, I don't like when I say it. Text Starbuck News here, backside now. Vulgar about hosting an all-white party on a barge in the Demerara River with a ticket price that is higher than the current minimum wage, even if it's for a good cause. Charity does not excuse such in-your-face, ostentatious indulgences in what is still a desperately poor country. I know it's beside the pillow Starbuck News wake up on. But Starbuck News in plain. I won't read the whole editorial here for you guys. But there are some parts that are very, very scathing. Very, very scathing in this editorial here. Right? Very scathing. Listen to the story here.
I could before you go
Go right
forward,
ahead.
could I
Go right
just
ahead.
could
Go
you
right
just
ahead.
read back the first I think the the sentence with in your face. Could you just read back
Yes.
that charity does
Charity does not excuse such in your face, ostentatious indulgences in
was
what is still a desperately poor country.
I want to just pause. I just want to just highlight ostentatious,
Down in Liverpool, you hear that?
I want to just highlight ostentatious because the word ostentatious, is basically characterized by pretentious or showy display designed to impress. Right. So let's just not go past that word as those Starbuck News didn't put it out. Ostentatious, as Starbuck News is implying there that it was a pretentious and showy, it's a situation that was designed to impress in a country that the majority of its citizens is poor. And this is a point that I make practically every single program. I speak about it on a daily basis that every issue that we highlight, I address the fact that we are talking about a country where the majority of the population is living in poverty. Every single point I highlight, that is what it comes home to. And I think that is the whole aspect of how Starbuck News tackled the situation altogether. So continue, Sharon.
Marlon, you hear that, girl? Doug De Silva, you hear that? Well, hear this other piece here now. Oh, Lord, Tech Up's real bitter here. Tech Up's bitter. Bitter bad. Hear this one now. Charita, tell me to get this. This Starbuck News. Starbuck News says, talking about this charity, it says, political philosopher Slavoj Zizek describes charity as remedies that do not cure the disease. They merely prolong it. Oh, y'all fight Slavoj for me. Fight Starbuck News. Then come and fight me. Fight them. Right? They do not cure but prolong the disease. Charity. Right? They try to solve the problem of poverty, for instance, by keeping the poor alive.
Yeah.
This is not a solution, it is an aggravation of that difficulty. The proper aim is to try and reconstruct a society on such a basis that poverty will be impossible and the altruistic virtues have really prevented the carrying out of that aim. So Starbuck News is contended you got to build a society where poverty is impossible. But they go on, right? They go on. They said, in other words, charity is not just a band-aid on a festering wound, but actually ensures that this wound does not heal because the rich are only interested in preserving the status quo. This is Starbuck News. I'll fight them. It gets worse, believe it or not. Because the editorial goes on to state probably the most glaring example of what Zizek, the philosopher, is talking about is the First Lady's campaign to end period poverty, when the government is still charging a 20% duty on sanitary napkins. And I dare say the government, led by her husband, is still charging a 20% duty on sanitary napkins. But the First Lady is in a quest to end period poverty.
I think Starbuck
Take their
News.
chest.
But Starbuck News, and let us just look at the perspective. How Starbuck News is bringing it forward. They're basically saying if there was any real intent or a real effort, however you want to say the genuineness of the effort, a real effort would be to actually address things as such, taking off the taxation off of that. But then again, that goes back to the whole concept of who actually benefits
Well, hold on,
from
man.
when those
Hold on,
taxations
man. Because
are
here's Starbuck
removed.
News.
And so
Here's Starbuck News, Shiretta. Following up on what you were saying there, Starbuck News says, remember, he says, probably the most glaring local example of what Zizek is talking about is the First Lady's campaign to end period poverty when the government is still charging 20% duty on sanitary napkins. They go on to say the editorial, then again, the removal of this and an application of a subsidy would not require any glamorous parties nor companies indirectly pledging fealty.
mm,
Ouch!
mm, mm, mm.
Ouch! If you take off the 20% and you put a subsidy, then we ain't got no reason to have fancy parties, right? And moet raining down from the sky. Oh, y'all fight Starbuck News. Don't come for me today. Y'all go fight Starbuck News. Don't come for me. Right? It goes on, Twitter. It goes on. It said the recent cleanup of the city and elsewhere was another exercise in virtuous self-promotion. Ouch. Several months later, the city has returned to its garbage-laden state. A far more sincere and sustainable initiative would have been to employ 100 persons to keep it clean.
Let's just stick on that for a bit, sure,
Stick there.
because
A pausing.
when this when this actually happened, I just want to make the point that when we saw persons out there, ministers of government out there, I think none other than Irfan Ali himself was out there saying that they're cleaning up. I spoke about the fact that these are just photo ops and they are no real mechanism and structural change to actually address the issue of the garbage being spewed on the streets altogether. And there you have it. Starbucks News is making a point right now that it was not a solution. It was a photo op moment for persons to go out there to get a little pat on their shoulder, or you're doing something, but they haven't addressed the real issue of dealing with it because there was no structural change. And more importantly, what they did was completely sidelined the local authority that have the mechanism that just needs the support from central government to actually carry out the duties of keeping the city clean. So that's why we're right back to where we started on that point.
Right back. And you know what? Here was what Starbucks News said. I mean, it's pretty interesting and insightful. Pretty interesting and insightful. Fenton Tiwari, Esther Blue, Sheena Hazel, Carl Miller. Here what Starbucks News says, goes on to say here. Starbucks News says it is tiresome to bang on. It is tiresome to bang on about the cost of living when the business class are polishing off sushi platters at $40,000, tomahawk steaks, eh, 300 US bottles of wine, and 800 US bottles of brandy. It's tiresome to talk about cost of living high. The truth is, this government has also done nothing meaningful to help the poor in this country at a time of its highest inflation in a generation. Y'all hear that? This is Starbucks News. Don't come to fight week. The truth is, again, I'm reading that. The truth is, this government has done nothing meaningful to help the poor in this country at a time when at a time of the highest inflation in a generation. Ouch. There's a slap to the face and a kick to the head.
Yeah, I'm reading the editorial, and I'm wondering if they're going to send to look for whoever wrote this, because apparently
Cyber
that
crimes.
everyone that has something strategic, and especially when it comes to constructive criticisms, there's an issue in the administration with such, and this particular article, like from start to end, hit the nail on the head.
Mhm.
Every part of it, every paragraph, every sentence, they're being extremely accurate with
Yeah.
what they're saying. And again, I want to say that everything that is being said in that article comes back to things we talk about every single day.
Yep,
When
yep,
it
yep.
comes to poverty, I always made the point, don't go around saying that you're giving persons this and that. And I have this thing in the back of my head also, that poverty seems to be this $1 billion industry that persons are carrying out actions that do not benefit the poor of the country, but they want to have a tap on the back. Oh, we're doing something for poor people. But sure, guess what? I do not give kudos, and I say this without apology. I do not give kudos to anyone out there that goes out and give a little freckle when it comes to the concept that they're saying, that the mechanism that they are employing to say they're helping poor people. I do not give credit to anyone that goes out there and give a couple dollars here and there when they are evading taxations and gaining $1 billion off of such and all of that. I cannot be thankful for stuff like that. It's not okay for white collar crime and white collar criminals to go out there and give someone something, and then they go out there and pretend that it's okay when the country is losing billions of dollars from them evading taxation and all of that. But that's a conversation all by itself. Let me not get into that.
Yep. And finally it says, they too have applied band-aids as a government. They too have applied band-aids of hampers and handouts rather than making what are easily instituted measures. Reduction on tariffs on various imported staples, a reduction in the VAT, an increase in the minimum wage, and a substantial increase in the income tax threshold. Such initiatives would have immediate benefits on all manner of social ills as part of what should be the ultimate goal of eradicating poverty completely from these shores. You don't end period poverty by handing out sanitary supplies. You end it by ending poverty.
And that's the whole aspect that we need to look at. What are you doing to actually end poverty? I think for too long, persons have been put in a position, let's be honest here. We have Guyanese that are living in absolute poverty, persons that are in a situation that they are so crippled, it's so crippling, it is mentally fatiguing and all of that. So whatever aid is given to them, they run after it and they hold on to it because they're desperately in need of whatever help is given. This is not something that people should be proud about. It's not okay for your population to be begging and desperately in need of handouts. It's not okay. At what point in time is it okay for us to basically praise any event that is showcasing the blatant disparity between the rich and the poor, especially when it comes to government officials? I think that's the point altogether. Startup News is getting at. It's
Yep, yep,
crazy.
yep, 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 yep. And then the other issue, Charita, talk to us.
Uh, but I do have another issue that I want to know that I've been monitoring actually, and that is specifically with the CEO of the CEO of GWI, Guyana Water Incorporated, Sherrod. I don't know how the water running by you, but by me, the water not really all of that. You know, the inconsistency, the quality altogether, it's horrible. Let's be quite honest. So I was quite upset to say the least to see a headline on News Source Guyana, and that is powered by Go Mostly Media. Uncle Gordon,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Big Uncle
right?
Gordon.
So that says GWI is saving $240 million annually after with staff reduction. So says the CEO Bash, and this is Sheikh Bash we're talking about. So my initial thoughts, of course, is the fact that he has the audacity to say that with a straight face confirms that basically he has to be delusional to actually be praising the fact that firing people is something beneficial. And more so, Cheryl, I think he didn't get the 50,000 job memo. Everyone seems to be doing their own thing. And I think that the fact that the CEO is saying something as careless and recklessly as that just goes to show the situation that we are in right now as a country. This is someone that should be looking to have optimal capacity. This is someone that should be looking to optimize production and the quality altogether of the service that is provided, in this case, water. And what he's boasting about doesn't make sense. I want to know that he came back after and said that he wasn't that the 300 plus persons did not necessarily all get fired, but some of them resigned, and some of them resigned and some of them retired. And I want to say this at this point in time, that even goes as a further indictment. That further goes as an indictment on him altogether, simply because if someone resigns or someone retires, their position is still there. The functions that they have to conduct is still there. So who is actually doing the job for these persons that resigned or these persons that retire? Is he saying to us that these functions are just put on hold? Is he saying that the current staff in there have to take over those functions and those other employees there are now overworked? What is he saying to us? Because we know that it is completely crazy altogether. as we continue, as we continue, guys, I am looking at the comment section. I'm seeing Francis and you here right now. I am seeing Sharon Foster right here right now. Guys, how you doing? Let us know. Continue to share as we continue the discussion. In the comment section, let us know how you're getting water at your end. Let us go from there. How are you getting water at your end? Are you getting consistent supply of water? Is the water running clean? What's going on? Because the CEO seems to be least concerned with the quality of the water and the efficiency of the service provided, but more so with how much money that they can save. Where are you on that, Mr.
Yep, yep, yep.
Duncan?
Lots are happening. Indeed, lots are happening. Lots happening. I mean, this is something else. This is something else. Um, It's one thing to just fire people because of who you think they might represent, who you think they might have voted for, who you might think they belong to. And it's another thing to have such a deficient system because, as you mentioned there, we've been hearing about this time and time again. Time and time again, water incoming, we don't have water, we don't have access to water. And lots of places in Linden, Region 3, 5 and 6, and other communities and regions as well have been telling us and sending us photographs, the color of the water, the quality of the water, right? But so you don't understand this, right?
Hmm.
You don't understand this. Is the purpose of a ministry to make a profit?
That
Right?
is that
People
the
have to be employed to get the work done. So you can't have it in cake and bake. You have a substandard service, right? And in some instances, you see them advertising for people, and then you come and they say, "Oh, we've made a company more efficient because we've saved money."
But it goes to the question as to what is the primary function and purpose when it comes to providing a public service altogether. And I made this point from the very beginning that the government is operating as though it is operating as though it is running the private sector altogether and being profit motivated and all of that, as opposed to providing public service and quality service to the population. And when we have that situation, it is a very dangerous and difficult situation. And the only people that suffer from that are the poor people of this country and the ordinary Guyanese altogether. Those are the persons that are left to deal with all that is going on.
Yep. This is unthinkable, and this is just one entity. This is just one entity. Now, if you replicate this at other agencies, at other ministries, you can understand what is happening there. There is a position that was taken, for instance, Rita, with Gaisuko, right? You can't just put people on the bread line. Gaisuko can produce nothing.
That is correct.
Guys, you can turn a profit in the longest while, and that is a profit making entity,
And we have been talking about
right?
all of these things all the time. I see a lot of person.
That's a profit making entity.
I want to note at this time, a lot of persons I had a whole lot of commenting about what is going on at Kaisuko and all of that. Suddenly come out and they don't have an issue with what is going
Yeah,
on at GWI. So the duplicity, how
yeah,
can I take
yeah.
you serious
Look at the
when you
billions. You
when you
know them
have all of that?
so acutely. The
The
billions they've thrown into Kaisuko
Mhm.
since August 2020. The billions, and they have reduced their sugar production targets. I think by what, 35%?
But well, not just they have reduced. I think the point needs to be made that they continue to reduce
Mm-hmm.
the target, because the actuality is that they're aiming to just to discontinue altogether. So every year's budget is going to have a lower production target. So they will continue to say that we have met. They can say we have met 80 something percent of our target. That's the hope. But when you actually look at the target, the target is going down every single year. So even if they are able to meet a significant part of the target, which they have not been able to meet, let me tell you, because prior with the last two budgets, and so they've been reporting that they have not even met those production targets, although the production target continues to go down. So
Yeah, yeah.
a whole lot
You
for
know,
us to actually talk about.
somebody just sent us a photograph on our WhatsApp. On our WhatsApp number 6276963. Somebody just sent us a photograph there that's showing us the quality of water in Bell West. You know,
Mhm.
the quality of water in Bell West. So when Sheikh Bash talking about efficiency, efficiency has to be measured more than just money saved. It has to be measured in the quality of water you produce over a long period of time. You were talking about some country the other day where in 25 years they have not had blackout. That's efficiency
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
power production and distribution.
The UAE,
Right?
the
If we
UAE
got
has been
Marby
like
coming
that.
through the tap, there can be efficiency here. You want a boast, you send home 300 people, you should
Mhm.
be fired. You should be sent home.
That is correct. That is correct. I wonder if he takes a reduction in his actual salary, how much money would be saved there. So
Yeah,
those are the
yeah.
real
If you really
questions.
want to talk about efficiency,
That is
right?
just crazy.
I'm
Yes.
seeing this water here. Take a look at that,
Guys, you are nuts.
right?
You cannot see
That's
this,
Bell West. Bell West.
but it's best to don't give them any at all. That can't be healthy.
Folks, how is the water by you?
That can't be healthy at
How is the
all.
water by you side? Right? I know folks in Linden have been complaining perennially, you know, the condition of the water. And not only color, but things in the water.
Correct.
Right? The things you find swimming in the water.
And persons that can't afford to put in the expensive filtration systems and all of that have to cope with this poor quality of water. So how dare Sheikh Bash come and try to boast
Yes. Shake bash should shake out the place.
and he didn't say, let me listen. Sometimes you have to dissect very carefully what is being said. He didn't say the company is saving $240 million annually. He says the company is saving that on the employment costs, right? Because I definitely, because that's what I do. I do the numbers. I definitely want to know what exactly their books are looking like. Because if you have less staff, you have less efficiency altogether. Because those persons, their function and their roles have not been filled, and because of that you cannot go out there and actually provide a proper service. How long is it taking for GWI now to go out there and fix a leak, a pipe burst? What is the cost associated with those things? And when I read that, another question I had is that what is the mentality with, well, not what is, well, with that mentality, it is basically saying that if you are living in a community that just have a few persons and you are trying to get water run there, it's going to be a blatant no, because it seems like the only thing they're concerned about is running the company as though it is a private company and profit motivated and those things. So the only thing they will be concerned with, oh well, if running it to these persons are, if the cost outweighs the amount of persons that are there, then you're not going to be getting water. That's not the way government and anybody associated with government should be operating at all, because that's why it's not private, it's government,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
public. It's public
Yeah,
good.
that is like the police force saying, "Oh, we fired 300 policemen because we want to save,
We
we
want
want
to
to save
save
costs.
money.
We want to save costs."
And what happening to crime if
Yeah,
there's not persons going out
yeah,
there? That's
yeah,
what it is, you
yeah.
know.
Water is
What
an
is the
essential part.
what is the associated cost with all of that? It's
Yeah,
crazy.
you listen to me. If the company really wants to save money, they'd fire Sheikh Bash. They would fire Sheikh Bash. Sheikh Bash was Minister of Education. What good did he do? Hmm? What good you could point and say Sheikh Bash just expect? This thing here is not about what you can bring in terms of your competence and expertise. Party loyalists, and so you needed a man to fill that post there at GWI, right? And you run out of people, and you land at Sheikh Bash. Sheikh Bash in 2022 could actually be leading an entity in this country, and you talking about efficiency.
Hmm.
Hmm? How efficient was he as Minister of Education? How efficient to the fact that bring me back, but does she at GWI? What is his expertise? What is his expertise?
Loyalty to a
Oh, I
specific
see.
aspect
I
of
see.
governance.
If fire him and save the company some money,
Hmm.
that's what they should do.
That is the truth of the matter
Fire
altogether.
him and save the company some money. Look what they did to our colleague.
Yeah.
All because he's up new, working as a professional at GWI. Soon as he
Mm,
come in, he lives, folks, lives in Barbies.
that is correct.
Lives in Barbies, works at GWI. You know they transfer him to Linden. They transfer him. Huh? You think people resign because out of
They left them no choice.
you left them no choice.
They left them no choice. They left them no choice. You
If I
can't
live
do
in
that
Barbies and working at GWI
with your
and
family
you
in
transfer me
Barbies.
to Linden, what are you telling me?
They're saying resign.
What
That's
are
what
you
they're
telling
saying.
me, Sheikh Bash?
They're saying resign. That's
Huh?
what they're saying. So
What are you telling
that
me?
resignation is actually forced resignation, which is equivalent to firing. That's
What
what
are
the
you
truth
telling
is.
me?
And I just want to make, the last thing that I actually wanted to touch on before we wrap up is this headline that I saw in the paper is with mother gets 2 weeks in prison for beating child.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like Jared, I don't know
Deal
what
with it.
I don't know
Deal with
what
it.
I don't want to know what Sherrod's thought on this, but I just
Deal with
want
it.
to read as I'm seeing it as being reported on one of the online media right now that a 40-year-old mother of Melissa Linden Suicide Highway was today sentenced to 2 weeks in prison for beating her 10-year-old daughter on May 8th at her home. It says the woman appeared at the Linden Magistrate Court via Zoom before her worship Miss Wonder Fortune, where the charge was read to her. She pleaded guilty to the summary charge and was sentenced to 2 weeks in prison. But I don't know if this was a little bit of precedence or if it was ever done before, but I am certainly telling you this is the first time reading of the fact that the mother was actually sentenced to jail time for beating their child. And I want to say this before persons come in the comments because I've been listening to a lot of comments. I've been reading rather a lot of comments that persons are saying, if it was my child, she would have had to find somewhere else to go and all that. And I want to say that we live in a country in which um, like whipping children and so is something that everyone would have grown accustomed to from for some time, right? So the fact that someone is being sent to jail for 2 weeks for that, I would want to say at this point in time that it had to be a situation in which that it was blatant abuse. It had to be that because no magistrate in their right mind would actually sentence somebody to 2 weeks jail time for giving the child a little touch up. But again, I say sometimes you have to protect children from their own relatives,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
sometimes they
yeah,
are in abusive
yeah.
situations with their own relatives.
I haven't seen a conclusion on the other similar matter with the father who beat the 7-year-old because he eat out the Chinese food. You know, I
Exactly.
haven't seen it. He needs some time as well.
Yes,
He needs
exactly.
some time to reflect on his actions.
That is so
Right?
true. And I just want to add, at this point in time also, I want to add that sometimes we don't look enough and in depth enough at the fact of corporal punishment in schools and the fact that there's a policy paper out there as to how and when it should be administered. And persons, we still have situations in so many schools of children being pushed around, slapped around, without that guideline being followed altogether. And I want to say that the guideline is very thorough. you know,
Yes, it
a
is.
certain length of raw ruler, and not to be done in public, to be documented in a register, and all of those things. So no point in time. I've been to several school meetings, in which parents themselves would say, Miss, I tell you, I give you permission to beat it. Listen, you try there. Don't ever subject your child to that. I'm cautioning persons out there. We have to be the first line of defense when it comes to our children, and there must be a better way and mechanism in administering discipline than to physically beat someone. I think as a people, we need to go track and see where this whole aspect of beating really came from, because that would change our mindset altogether on how we go about that. But I know a lot of persons have a lot of feelings as to whether or not you should spare the rod, spoil the child, as that concept and that terminology is utilized a whole lot. But the rod, the physical rod, I think we often think a little bit out on that, and we need to think out of the box. Let us not box our thought into the physical rod and administering physical pain, because I personally think that you don't teach your children that because you're in a position of authority, then it is okay for you to hit all the time, and you must utilize different mechanism when it comes to discipline. Because I have two daughters, and from me personally, I do not want to teach them that because I'm in a position of authority it's okay for me to hit them, because I don't want at any point in time when they get older and they go out into this world, someone else believes that they're in a position of authority and they believe it's okay because that person's in a position of authority to lift their hands at them. So I look at it very, very in depth, and I must say that we have to move forward and be very much more strategic in the way we administer punishment to children. So quite an interesting article. Mother gets 2 weeks in prison for beating child.
Mhm.
Quite interesting, I must say.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to know. It'll be interesting to know where is the child.
Yeah,
during this time. If
correct.
it's in state care or it's with the child is with relatives or what have you. But this family can need some help going forward because
Yes.
that's an additional thing now. If the mother um, is not rehabilitated the correct way to see, is you Mecca went to jail and what have you, and you could come back and it can be even worse,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
even more resentful to that child, even more so. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Well, but you can, guys, you can have this debate. You can circulate your thoughts on it.
yeah.
We're 5 minutes out. So let us know
And we
what's
still,
going on.
yeah, we're still going to be talking in subsequent broadcasts on perhaps on methods you can use outside of physical punishment,
I
because
say
physical
it's.
punishment is so relative. Because and we were talking the other night on the program, looking at a relative choking a
Mm.
child. When does it cross the line from discipline to abuse?
Well,
And it's a very thin line.
we did have the situation even more recently with the father that kicked and was kicking and slapping his daughter.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we have so much to talk about when is that. But listen, I have.
Well, this wasn't a
I'm
minor. A
gonna talk
25-year-old
some of
daughter
my
is a different
business.
story altogether.
Let
A
me let me
25-year-old daughter is a totally different
let
story
me
altogether.
let me just put out some of my business as we wrap up today. Let me put some of my business out there in the public. I have two children, and my oldest daughter, I had her when I was 18 years old. And I can tell you, an 18-year-old don't know anything about how to be this perfect model of a mother and all of those things. It's as crazy as it is, but you try to do your best and all of that. But in all of that, I had the support, and I think the teaching coming from my own mother when it comes to the mechanisms utilized to communicate with your children. And because of that, even when you get to the depth of frustration with your child, it is impossible for me to actually raise my hand to hit my child. And I have always resorted to a solution of just sitting and talking, because I see that as being most effective. And I want to say this at this point in time. My daughter goes to school, both of my children actually, they go to school and mix with other children. And I have seen children that mothers and fathers believe, you just broke a stick on them for everything and can see it as blatant as that. They still go and do the same thing, because when you just I would say fly your hand at the slightest things, and you're not telling your child definitively what the issue is, then you're not making the real impact. I think when they understand why you don't want them to do something, it is more, it sticks more, as opposed to if you just tell them don't do it because I say so.
Yeah,
And I have
yeah.
never employed that kind of reasoning. So we have to look very seriously at the way in which we treat our children, because we are teaching them how other persons should treat them altogether.
Let me take two comments as we wrap up. Oswald Smith says the best discipline for a child is not beating, because when they get used to the beating, where would you turn to? Where would you turn to? It's best to
Yeah,
stop them from doing what they love to do. That is what works,
correct.
as against you.
Yeah, you
What do you
remove
call that?
something, corporal punishment.
You call that what do you call that? You take something away from them. Forgetting what's the correct terminology, but nonetheless, you take something from doing something that they love to do.
Mhm.
That works. And then Anthony Christian says, "I never beat my kids. One go to NYC University scholarship. One go New York City University scholarship academic, and my daughter goes to Branch College. Not even one lash. But I am a veteran, so I punish. No TV, no phones. I
Yeah.
always explain to them why I punish. Told my kids, use your brain.
Mhm.
Use your brain.
Well, that's and interestingly, because that is the mechanisms that I employ also, because in my head, like, I look at persons, I look at significant leaders in this world, and I think to myself that that child was born, and a parent or someone raised that child to be this leader. I
Yeah.
always think that when we have our own children, we are in control of setting that stage for them, creating that
Yeah.
foundation, in teaching them that they are valuable, they are worth more, and all of that. And because of that, I treat my children in a way in which that I want persons to treat them, in a way in which they expect to be treated also. So my children go out there, they believe that conversations are the best method, and they also believe that at no point in time that anyone should treat them in any abusive manner
Yep,
altogether.
yep. And finally, folks, I have Chisel Chipper says restriction of privilege as part of coping and part of discipline restriction, which is what the previous comment was, restriction of privilege, right? And Robin Narayan says the
Mhm.
Bible teaches parents how to spank their children. Yep, 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 yep. That's our time, folks. That's our time today. We're so happy that so many of you join us. Amanda Daniels, Clear Jamoth. I see June Chase is here as well. Patricia Kisoon, and all you other wonderful folks. We're back tomorrow. We're back tomorrow with another episode as we begin the new week on Sunday. Tomorrow is Sunday the 15th. Half the month is gone already.
That is correct, guys, and
Half the month. Pick up the pace.
the hour goes by so quickly. But I see Guyana Spectator has posed a question. Name one thing that APNUAFC did for Guyana, and I
This
think
this
that
this
tomorrow's
this is
hour
like
we can use
this is
to
like the
highlight
this is like
some
the
of them.
this is like the reporter asked for the SOPs.
No, but I think tomorrow would be a good day to highlight.
I'm not going to respond to
We're
base
gonna
my
take
program again. Expected. You can
we're
have his
gonna
own program
we're
and do
gonna
that. You can
take
do
we're
you can
gonna
do
take
that.
days to go through just
Yeah, yeah,
half.
yeah,
So-
yeah, yeah, yeah. If you don't look around and see it, I can't help you. If you don't know it by now, you will never know it.
Thank you so
You
much for
will never
joining
know
us,
it.
guys. Gladstone Matthews and Fenton and Dexter and Amanda, all of you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure that you share the stream so other persons can benefit from the conversation. And have a great day.
That's our time, folks. Stay safe. Remember, we cannot do this without you. Your love and support. Share the damn live stream. Smash that emoji button. Partner with us. We're available via Zelle, via Cash App, via PayPal, MMG. We're available via Western Union, via MoneyGram as well, folks. You need any guidance? 627-6963. WhatsApp us in the 21st century.
That is
WhatsApp us
correct.
627-6963. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good
That's our
one, guys.
time. That's our program. As Rita says, have a good one. Stay safe.